the podcast that finishes your workday in a very Red Raider way. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3.
Hey, what's happening? Happy Monday. Good afternoon, and welcome on into Tech Talk here on Double T 97.3, Double T 97.3.com, and the Double T 97.3 mobile app brought to you by Happy State Bank. Yours on television as well, Fox 34 News Now, alongside the one and only, the Doctor of the Diamond, Mike Gustafson. I'm Chois Woodman, in for Aaron Dickens today. Clint Scott across the way, taking care of us as usual. How we doing, Gus?
I'm good. I am hanging in there.
I like that jacket you got going.
Yeah, I don't. This is
sharp.
We'll pull over, and I think, yeah. Well, you know what? I know they're a sponsor of this station, so I'm going to tell you where I think this was purchased. I think this was purchased at Cardinal Sports Center.
Okay, yeah.
Been a couple years though. Not 45 years
not
as the logo, but like cool retro things. So again, I'm very careful not to get in trouble for talking about all our fast food French fries. We got a little.
Y'all get in trouble for fast food French fries?
Well, there might have been some live reads there if you are going to be technical, but yeah, I know that Cardinals is a sponsor.
It's a nice looking.
I know they sponsor Thetford and Ashby, so we're good there. I can talk about that, but yeah, I think that's where this was purchased. At that point, Brooks was working on the loading dock there for a little bit.
The loading dock,
a few years back, and so he probably got the employee discount or whatever.
The $5 discount?
No.
Oh, not that one.
I didn't say that. Like
not
a literal.
Just the employee discount.
If you work there,
right? Not the loading dock discount. It's like, well, I like this one.
Y'all don't be spreading rumors. No, the actual.
The discount.
Yeah, the literal employee discount, not the five-finger discount.
Not that one. Okay.
The one that you apparently are intimately familiar with.
I think we had enough rumors last week. We don't need to spread any fresh ones this week.
And I think that's a classic example right there. Yeah. Somebody hints at something and somebody else takes it and just goes crashing into the end zone with it.
May have just tweeted from the Double T 97.3 Twitter account.
Exactly.
Brooks Gustafson.
Exactly.
We got him, boys. Book them.
That's right.
Book them.
That's
reserved for something else, right? The book 'em. Oh no, that was last week's story too. So we've got still a pretty busy weekend. Nothing close to what you guys walked into at this time last Monday, but still a busy weekend that feature a lot of good sports. Some bad sports. Depends what side of things you're on. A couple of overtime games in the NFL that people care about around here. World Cup was pretty good finish. If you're into that, or even if you're not into that, it was a heck of a finish.
That was just a sports fan.
Man,
that had legit sports drama.
That was awesome.
That really was.
Of course, Tech Hoops, amid everything last week, they did exactly what they needed to do, and finally got a blowout win over a team they're supposed to blow out. 50-point victory, 102-52. Over Jackson State and Houston, so maybe that will quiet some things down. After, when did the Fardaws news come out that he was remaining? Was that was during?
Yeah, we had that.
Friday,
we definitely had it on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Couldn't
remember the timeline on that.
Yeah, we definitely had that because I think we were able to report that he'd gotten on the plane.
Okay. And
I think still in cast and all that, so there's nothing like he went through the layup line or anything. So, and that's not news. And of course, Bacho didn't play either. But and if Bacho was going to miss 2 games all year long, I think you couldn't have put him in any better spot.
Sure.
Hopefully, there's nothing lingering, and they'll be back at it here in 48 hours, right?
Right.
Yeah, literally 48 hours, like a 1 o'clock game on Wednesday.
Less than,
because I think this is that game, and they usually have an afternoon game this time of year, post finals, post graduation, pre Christmas or around Christmas, in a way that those guys will play that game at 1 o'clock and then be on the. If you want to meet a basketball player, go out to the airport about 5:30 because they're probably all on the flight home that night, on the last flight out from the various airlines, and then probably have to be back. I don't know. That'd be the 21st, probably the 24th or 25th. And I think there's one more game another afternoon game leading into the getting on the bus or the plane or whatever to TCU to go get them. So yeah, it's the time is close, about a week and a half, I guess, till conference play starts, or 12, a little over a week.
Yeah, we got 12 days out from conference play. We are 9 days away from a bowl game. Signing day is coming up on Wednesday, right? Mm-hmm. What day is it?
Yeah, right.
Wednesday.
2 days. Yep.
This week. And there's some news coming out. You're seeing some commitments here and there. You're seeing some transfer portal news continues throughout. As another Red Raider entered in Kobe Minor recently, so all of that. It's a busy time of the year where football and basketball kind of overlap. But man, I think I don't know how much NFL you watched yesterday, but it was quite the day, quite the weekend, because we had Saturday too in the NFL. So the Vikings have the largest comeback in NFL history.
The interesting thing about that game for me is when I got home and got settled, I kicked on that game. It was probably third quarter, early third, mid-third, and muted it, and then had the Tech game, basketball game on the radio.
Right.
And so I'm watching this, and I'm going, hey, 33, whatever, maybe 33-18 or something. And they come back and tie it up and win it, and I'm going, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good little comeback, the whole day.
So you didn't know they were down 33-0?
I did not. Again, because I had the sound down.
Right.
And I don't know what I was doing, but I'm listening, kind of checking the game, like, it's pretty good. And I think it wasn't until yesterday that I actually saw that they were down 30 to zip, I guess. Isn't that right?
It's 33-0.
33, okay.
Yeah, it got all the way to 33-0. I think that was the halftime score.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and just I had no idea. I just thought, just a little back and forth 2-score game type deal, and had no idea. And when you think about it, that's a Vikings team that's in position to for a nice little. I don't think that. Well, they could probably still contend for the bye, but they've got some work to do. But home field type stuff,
sure,
and an early home game or something like that, and that is not the kind of loss you want to take. And you could probably say the same thing about the Cowboys, and you can almost say the same thing about the Chiefs. And there's some folks that are really deep into college football that don't pay much attention to the NFL until this weekend here, because you start to get Saturday games and Sunday games, obviously, and a Thursday and a Monday, and you put all that stuff together, and it ends up being a big football weekend because it's so spread out, but all of the college stuff is done other than the sprinkling of bowls.
Quite the wild weekend in the NFL. We'll dive into lots of stuff, bowl stuff, lots to bring you. A few headlines coming up next. You're listening to Tech Talk on Double T 97.3.
It's every Red Raiders' favorite podcast. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3.
Hey, it's the Juice. Part of Tech Talk here on Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. Juice brought to you by our friends at Specs. Go visit them, 2 Lubbock locations. A few headlines to dive into, Gus, from the weekend. In case you missed it, it was a wild and woolly one from the NFL front. Saw some crazy finishes. The Raiders game, unlike, kind of a little familiar to some Texas Tech fans on how that one finished, but a lateral pass ends up going the wrong direction in the Raiders game for a touchdown in a tie ball game.
Yeah, and that was the bizarre part. That was a tie game, and that play's not really there. If you're losing, then I totally understand.
You got to do it if you're losing.
Step out of bounds. I mean, and you just don't see Belichick coach teams do that kind of stuff.
Right.
I mean, they gave up the Hail Mary a couple years ago, but that was, that's not this. This is a kid trying to do too much and panicking. It's bizarre, man.
Yeah, I can't believe from the one in Miami, though, Gronk didn't stick around at safety after that for the rest of his career.
Yeah, no.
Also, long tease, you may or may not hear the Patriots call from that at 5:30.
Okay. Very long tease. Latest AP college basketball poll out today. Purdue takes the top spot once again this week as they played one game last week against Davidson, won it. UConn, number 2. Houston in at number 3. Kansas Jayhawks, number 4. Shut up, Clint. Texas Longhorns at number 7. Baylor is 12. TCU at number 20.
You know what's interesting about that? TCU's net ranking is 84 right now, and it's last in the Big 12.
They've played a very similar schedule to Texas Tech. Played a lot of teams that haven't been that good.
And they've got an ugly loss.
They do have an ugly loss.
And doesn't Net
Who
do
was
some,
it? I'm trying to remember.
It was the team that we played, Northwestern State.
Northwestern State.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And then they almost lost their opener, too.
To Pine Bluff.
Yeah, should have lost that game.
Yeah, and note that they had some key players out, so they're different on a different level
if
now.
We're going to go there. Tech has had key players out a bunch, too.
I understand.
So,
The disparity between 20 and 84 is that's remarkable.
It's massive. Texas Tech did receive 10 votes, or 10 points, I should say, in the poll, which has them like 37th or so, if anybody's interested in that sort of thing. Also, from the NFL yesterday, Dallas Cowboys fall short in overtime to the Jacksonville Jaguars. However, still have clinched a playoff spot. So, the Cowboys, here's your bit of trivia. You're the trivia man. I'm going to turn it on you.
Cowboys got help from the Giants last night.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cowboys got help from the Giants as they beat the Commanders. Well, and if you want to go that far, the officials, too. Did you see that final play?
Yes.
Where he's bear hugging him from behind, and there was no PI whistle. Wow.
Yeah, and they interviewed the ref in the booth who was saying,
yeah,
because they all try not to make the call that defines a play right there, but that DV, that was an actual mugging.
You got to call that.
Yeah, and they asked him about it, and the ref, and he was like, "Yeah, that's that one."
Right, if you get the ref to be on your side,
I know. Yeah, that's
it's like, oh, it must have been pretty egregious.
Yeah, no doubt.
So anyway, we see the Cowboys get help there. Your trivia here. Mike McCarthy, first Cowboys head coach to take the team to the playoffs back-to-back seasons since
Bill Parcells.
No, further back.
Oh, Jimmy Johnson.
Not quite that far back. 98-99. Chan Gailey.
Wow.
The Cowboys, it has been that long since they've been to the playoffs in back-to-back seasons.
Because didn't I also see McCarthy's like the first to do back-to-back double-digit wins? Or he's got a chance to be?
I think you're right, yeah.
Or since way back.
Way back,
wow.
Yeah. Well, the Cowboys are already, they already have 10. So.
Okay, that's it then.
So they're already at that mark. So, holy moly. Mm-hmm. Chan Gailey. There's your stat for today. And in case you missed the news yesterday morning, World Cup complete. Messi finally got his as Argentina defeated France. It was 3-3, but went to PKs, and Argentina got the victory. Lady Raiders in action tonight as you can catch them taking on McNeese State, the Cowgirls, this evening at 7 o'clock. Listen in on 107.7 Yes FM. And in case you're into this sort of thing, but don't leave us. Just tune in later. Myrtle Beach Bowl going on as we speak over on 100.7. The score, 21-0. Marshall leads it over UConn. Have we confirmed, is Henry Columbia still on that Marshall team?
I think he's still on it. He had his starting job taken about halfway through that season.
Okay. So there you go. And
also, to be fair, though, I don't know if that guy who stole his job is in the portal or not. Who knows? Who knows if he was
we never know. We never know.
Hard to track from day to day.
And here coming up after we're done tonight, Friendship Girls Basketball. They'll take on Amarillo High this evening.
Big one there.
That game starts at 6:30. Should be a good one. Should be. They played last year, I believe. Amarillo High took it. That team went to state semis a season ago. Always really good.
Yeah, no doubt. And they came down here and played the Monterey girls to about a 10, 12-point game last week. Of course, the Monterey girls
lost
got
on
Friday. How about that?
to Lubbock Cooper. So
how about that?
You two can join us. Your thoughts, your comments, your questions, whatever you want to get in. All of it welcome on the Yates Flooring Center chat line through that Double T 97.3 mobile app. Chris says, book 'em horns.
Speaking of the horns, Bijan Robinson declared for the draft today.
Not
I don't
really
think that's
surprising.
surprising. No. I think it was just
the
the formal announcement of that. Yeah, because he's expected to go.
Yeah, he'll go
well up into the
probably top 10.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most projections have him there. We're starting to see more consistently Tyree Wilson in the top 10 as well. I think, which is really good to see that the injury hasn't really hurt his stock.
Right.
I mean, you really like to see that if you're a Tyree Wilson fan.
Yeah, and I'm sure you know how the combine is. They'll do all the MRIs and X-rays and all of the things.
Sure.
They're not going to, they're going to be pretty thorough about that side of it. But he, to make sure there's no problems with a foot on a big man like that.
Right.
And you think about it. Think about just how we're spending a lot of time worrying about this Fardaws thing and talking about that's a big man there.
Mm-hmm.
He's taller than Tyree, but not 270. Or no. I don't think we're talking about 6'7", 270 with all the things that Tyree's got going on. Yeah, but hopefully there's nice progress for him on the foot, and then the interviews and all those kind of things. There's nothing there in that combine process, or however he decides to handle it that derails him, because it sure would be fun to watch him be a fearsome NFL player. Hey, we were talking earlier about the college basketball rankings, and I wrote down these net rankings, and Tech at number 66 right now, and that's of today.
Okay.
As of today.
And you're going to drop in the next couple because you're playing teams in what, the 300s?
Yep. And Houston Christian, there's 363. There's 361. So South Carolina State 328.
That's not good.
No.
It's Tech Talk on Double T 97.3.
The podcast put together with Red Raider fans in mind. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3.
Glad to be part of your Monday. You're listening to Tech Talk on Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com alongside Mike Gustafson. I'm Chois Woodman in for Aaron Dickens today. Is he watching Avatar today? He has been known to skip a show to go watch a movie.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I didn't think about that.
Except he's usually there on the day it's released. So I'm just curious. Did any of
Have we checked the movies that are being released today? We never double checked any of that, did we?
I don't think anything gets released on a Monday, do they? Typically, it's like a Thursday or Friday. So anybody here watch the new Avatar thing?
Mm-mm. Haven't yet. Mm-mm.
Got plans to?
We will. It's just not urgent.
Not urgent. So I think what I see that it grossed $150 million over the weekend, and the budget was between $300 and $350 million. So opening weekend only got $150. They were needing a lot more than that.
Oh wow!
For the opener. I did read decent reviews on it, but I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of the first one. I mean, it was fine, but I wasn't.
I could have used about an hour less of it.
Yeah, it was pretty long with the blue people. Let's see. Breaking news here, Mr. Gustafson, but saying the Eagles have said that quarterback Jalen Hurts is uncertain to play Saturday.
Really? Wow.
Versus the Cowboys due to the sprained shoulder.
Did he get popped yesterday?
Yeah, I guess it says he suffered a sprained shoulder in the win over the Bears. So
the $1 million question is which shoulder?
Yeah, that does matter. This one, if the Cowboys would have won yesterday, would have made a much bigger impact, right? They've got a 3-game lead over the Cowboys at this point. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really matter. I mean, they're not going to go lose 3 in a row.
Yeah. Do you think if it was 50-50, and I know it says uncertain, so he still may play, but do you think if it was like 50-50 or even like 60-40 that he could go, since they saw the Cowboys lose and they have a 3-game lead, that they still might rest him?
Oh, I think I would. If I'm the Eagles, I'm holding him out of this game if there's any chance that he's not 90% or better in this game. I think I'm.
And that's what they have a 3-game lead over the top seed too with the Niners, correct?
I don't know if it's 3 or 2. I think it is 3. Yeah. So,
and that's where the events of yesterday help with that. That game doesn't become anywhere near as frantic, and we got to push him through because, I would venture to say at this point the Eagles are trying to get the bye in the the bye in the home field more than anything else.
But I think they've got that. They've got quite a lead there too. So it's, if I'm the Eagles, I'm probably leaning towards resting him, unless it's just not that big of a deal, and they're.
It could be some gamesmanship here, but the if you told me that was throwing arm and that becomes the same math that every team would sort of deal with, going, hey, is a diminished him better than a healthy him?
Yeah. But at the same time, the other side of the coin is if the Eagles play him and they win the game this weekend, then they can rest him for the next 2, and you've got everything wrapped up at that point.
Good point. Then it's a matter of playing enough to stay sharp.
Yeah. So
not just shutting everything off for 3 weeks.
So that news there. I sit there and watch the Cowboys. I shouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised, but I still let myself get disappointed. It's 27-10, I believe, was their biggest lead in the game over the Jags, and then they slowly chip away, take the lead. Cowboys tie it back up. It was just one of those games where you kind of felt it dripping away. And I will say Jacksonville's a much better team than they were earlier in the season, but it feels like the same story over and over with good Cowboys teams as of late. They can beat up on bad football teams, but anytime they play a team with a pulse, no chance. They lose those games. They lose the close ones. They lose the games against good teams, and it feels like you're going to have the same script again written out for you once the playoffs come around. Cowboys are a playoff team, but you're going to face a good team in the first round. If you don't lose in the first round, very little hope that you could get beyond that or get beyond the second round. So it's, in my lifetime, the hope level for the Cowboys is, it's very dimly lit.
How appealing does it sound facing any version of Tom Brady in round 1 if you're a Cowboys fan?
Great, except for the very faint memory of week 1. I don't know. I keep watching him over and over in the last few weeks, and there's not much going on there.
You know what worries me? Because I've been saying the same thing, that this is going to be the year, but then you want to go back to reminds you of things you've seen before with the Cowboys. Said the same thing. If you're not going to get Aaron Rodgers this year, and then he got you again, in the same way that you lost to the Jaguars.
Yeah. Brian said Vikings had a pulse. They did.
Yeah, no doubt.
So there's the one. McCarthy blew it by not running the ball on 3rd down with 1:20 to go, forcing them to burn their last timeout. But hey, let's throw the ball deep and out of bounds. Yes, it's McCarthy. Ultimately, everything falls back on the head coach, but a lot of people blaming Kellen Moore too. We see this time and time again. Like the football IQ is lacking a lot of times with the Cowboys.
I didn't watch it, so the specific to that play,
So he takes.
Dak didn't check into it or anything.
No,
did he?
not
as you can tell.
Like it.
Yeah.
It looks like this is a called play that. Look, you got taking a shot 40 yards down the field. Yeah. Jacksonville uses that timeout up. Very unlikely they're going to be able to go down the field and do what they did because they had to use the timeout to get into field goal range. And
so if they run it and plow it in the line, they get 1 yard.
Then they call
you burn their last
timeout. You punt it down inside the 20 like they did, and then it's a different story. They're having to take deeper shots down the field than they did instead of just picking it apart up and down. But it's just, again, over and over, same stuff with the Cowboys. I think Mike McCarthy is very good at beating bad teams, but whenever he gets into crunch time situations, it's rough. So he can put up this iron pyrite and this fool's gold of being able to you win 10 games a season a lot of times, but not having teams that can make any sort of runs in the playoffs. Very rarely make runs in the playoffs.
Yeah,
hope I'm wrong.
That's time will tell, and playing at their best, especially with their defense playing at their best, they're elite. And I mean, you just never know. But over the next 3 weeks, the health is a big deal, and because I had the 49ers, and maybe they still belong there until they're not, but I had the 49ers on a higher plane, on an elite plane.
Yeah.
But man, QB injuries, that's not that Jimmy G's a star, but certainly could manage a team to a pretty good level, and he's out.
Yep. It's Tech Talk. Back for more next on Double T 97.3.
The podcast that finishes your workday in a very Red Raider way. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3.
Glad to be with you on a Monday. It's Tech Talk on Double T 97.3, Double T973.com, and the Double T 97.3 mobile app. Brought to you as always by Happy State Bank. Yours on television, Fox 34 News Now. However, wherever you're joining us from, we are happy that you've chosen to make us part of your Monday. We being myself, Choice, in for Aaron Dickens, Mike Gustafson in his normal seat, as is Clint Scott, with you today till 6 o'clock. Keep your thoughts, your comments, your questions, anything you want to coming on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. We'll dive back into some of that momentarily, some Dallas Cowboys thoughts, some baseball there. Of course, a smattering of different emo bands on the chat line. Shelly says The Cure is definitely an emo band.
There you go. There's my band.
There's yours.
Right there. Boom.
That's his draft pick. Razor's Dead.
I sang emo band music
Used?
on the song the other day. I mean, on the show the other day.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
Gus, I actually meant to tell you I listened more to The Cure this week. I've listened to them before, but you just got me in a Cure mode.
Good.
And so that's what I listened to this week. But, up next, you want The Used, you want some Dashboard Confessional, you want some Taken Back Sunday.
There's a lot.
Raider's dad had a great suggestion with the Get Up Kids.
The Get Up Kids. I mean, all of this is just bringing me back to, high school days, as you speak of.
Yeah, Gus is about to bust out the Guy Liner.
Yeah, no doubt.
Guy Liner.
Perfect.
Just on the lower,
that's right.
Yeah.
Outline the
You
lower
don't do
lip.
the top one, just the lower one.
Gus is doing a single purple strand right down the right side of his hair.
That'll work.
That's right.
Seems legit. So keep those thoughts and comments coming. We'll get to some stuff from the bowl games over the weekend. Some interesting stuff there. Did you see our guy, a Rangers fan, that caught the Aaron Judge home run?
Oh, yes. Heard that he had an auction.
He had an auction. He was offered, reportedly, $3 million on the spot.
Really?
For that Aaron Judge baseball. The auction closed out at $1.5 million.
Yeah, 1.5, yeah.
So he took the gamble, bet on himself, so to speak, and said, I think I can get more for it. For Aaron Judge's 62nd home run hit, it was at the Rangers ballpark. And he got out of there, hightailed it out quickly, was offered $3 million on the spot. Not sure who offered that. It's according to Darren Rovell.
Mm-hmm.
And ends up biting him as he got half of that at $1.5 million. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd still take $1.5 million for a baseball.
Any baseball I caught. One of the things that I had heard about from... No, I'm confusing it. The guy who caught Pujols, the one he hit in Pittsburgh.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember what it was. If that was, it might have been 700. I don't think that's right. Maybe anyway. He kind of did the same thing. He clung to it and all, and didn't participate in the MLB authentication.
Yeah, what you got to do.
Yeah, you want to get that hologram sticker, because they'll come find you and all that. Part of it's for your own safety and some of those things. And but yeah, that's what I was told, or that's what I think they put on the broadcast that night, because I went over and interviewed the guy.
Yep.
And because he was a Cardinals fan in Pittsburgh that had just gone to the game and caught the thing. So I think that was the Cardinals broadcast sought him out, which was there had some novelty to it because the guy was like from Illinois and he'd gone to the game, was just going anyway. Like, me and my son came to the game, whatever, caught this game, but didn't participate in the authentication deal, which is just a little decal. It's just
the sticker now.
And so then and now it's like, dude, once you get outside in the parking lot with that thing, like the provenance of that, and I don't fully understand that, but it makes it like, how do I know that you didn't pull that out of the bucket once you come around tomorrow and go, hey, I cut this ball last night.
Then claim,
here's the video of me, but I'm still looking at that ball going, yeah, but I don't know that is that ball.
Exactly. Yeah, so there's no...
Yeah.
You have to... Nowadays, the authentication part...
It's a big deal.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's a little hologram sticker. And,
right, and it's kind of cool because they'll do it for every single baseball.
And there's no charge for it or anything. Yeah, all those little foul ball, the curve ball in the dirt that they roll over there, they're sticking it on there and auction it off.
Yeah, they'll put a sticker and say, hey, this faced 3 pitches in Major League Baseball. Yep. Josh Young fouled it off.
You got it. Game used. The stands. Yeah, legit
and then
game
they'll
used
put
stuff.
the little sticker on there for you and it's got a QR code on it. So it's cool. I mean, I like the process that they have. Someone said, just drove by Danlaw Field. Can't wait to see Texas Tech play a game there in 2023. Another one said, Collegiate Baseball just announced their preseason All-American team. Scrolling through to see if we have any guys on it. From look there, no... It's not just no Red Raiders on this list of... I didn't count. I believe there are about 60 guys here among 3 teams. No Red Raiders, but only 2 Big 12 guys total from the count. 2 Oklahoma State guys.
Yeah, and one of the OSU guys is a JUCO transfer, and so
he hadn't even played in the league yet.
Right, and I mean that totally misses on Braden Taylor. Braden Taylor. Been a 2-year impact guy at TCU. Been playing third base. I think he's a native of Utah, the state of Utah. But I think that's right. But left-handed hitter, right-handed thrower, and he's got sort of the same. I am kind of comparing him to Josh Young in the sense that. The same sort of steps and pedigree along the way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's performed as well or this or that or will be that or whatever, but in terms of a guy who did the Team USA thing after his after his sophomore year and is picked high on all the draft stuff next year, will he stay at third, blah, 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 blah. But I would bet that he will be the Big 12 preseason player of the year when all that comes out, in the week or two leading up to the season starting, and he didn't even merit third team on that list. So I'm a little surprised by that. But collegiate baseball sometimes can be a little odd with their preseason stuff. Now they also work pretty hard at covering the game, and it is father son and probably a minimal staff there. And I don't think they cover it they don't try to cover it in the way that D1 Baseball or Baseball America or whatever, but Lou Pavlovich is a prince of a guy, and I'll say this about Lou: he was covering college baseball 45 years ago when nobody else was, so he gets a pass from me. But sometimes just preseason teams like this will miss the mark a little bit. But,
and when you have a smaller staff,
oh yeah,
a lot easier to miss.
I've put together watch lists before, and that's drinking through a fire hose. Can't imagine doing the All-American thing.
Emo Monday. Roll it on. It's Tech Talk on Double T 97.3.
It's every Red Raiders' favorite podcast. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3.
It's Tech Talk on Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. We are live from the First United Bank studio. You can call us on the Benchmark hotline. That's open for you, 806-771-0973. Or you can keep hitting us up on the 8th Floor Center chat line. Thoughts, comments, reaction, all of that welcomed there. Don't forget, you can take us anywhere with the mobile app. It's brought to you by Happy State Bank. One more hour with us at 6:30 here on Double T 97.3. It's Friendship Girls Basketball as they take on Amarillo High, the Fighting Golden Darudes, a.k.a. Sandys, a.k.a. Sandstorm. On 107.7 Yes FM, Lady Raider Basketball takes on McNeese State. That starts at 6:30. And Over 100.7 the score. It's Monday Night Football. Clint Scott with Dr. Mike Gustafson and Brendan Riker behind the glass. And Gus, you look at Monday Night Football tonight, and this is another example we've seen kind of in a strange season, especially on the NFC side. And boy, you're looking, like 13 weeks ago, and if you're just a fan of the NFL, you go, boy, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
Right.
Oh, the Super Bowl defending Los Angeles Rams. Well, you get here, it's kind of,
yeah, and
okay.
And when they set that up for TV, that just exactly what you're going. The money people were looking at that, going, dude, that's the matchup there.
Yeah, and it just goes. Rams entering 4-9. Interesting with Baker Mayfield coming over. Of course, the story was bigger last week when he was playing his first game. And, of course, it's the Raiders that they got. The Raiders finally kind of having a little bit of, I guess, revenge on the karma that has been their season with some strange losses.
Yeah.
And we'll play a little clip of that at 5:30. Also have the juice at 5:15. But, the Rams have that storyline from last week. The Packers still technically in the hunt. It's fading fast. They don't. I'll tell you this: the Packers and Aaron Rodgers don't have the little E for eliminated by their name yet.
Yeah, that which also means you better start stringing together some W's.
Yeah,
which for them they'd have 4 games left.
Yes, and yeah, Rams 4-9, Packers 5-8. It's been a strange season with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers being down, and then of course Tom Brady having the worst season, and not statistically, because you look statistically and he's still having a good year, but just clearly as a team, things are weird. The weapons, Godwin gets hurt early. He doesn't have Gronk. Running game hasn't been consistent. Whatever it's been, it's still a Tom Brady-led team over with the Bucs that are clearly down and are still trying to fight with a losing record to win their division. We were talking earlier, though, still, if you're the Cowboys right now, the if it ended today, you'd be going over to Tampa, and I have this question for you. How nervous does that still make you that it's Tom Brady on the other side, if that were to be the case?
Well, I personally don't really care about the Cowboys, so
sure.
To answer your question, not at all.
If you were wearing a Cowboys,
yeah, but I get it.
Jersey.
I get it. That's the scary part, because the dude's had an answer at winning time for 20 however many years.
Mm-hmm.
They don't appear to be the same animal that they were a couple of years ago as a Super Bowl team, and that's what the NFL's done for years. Mm-hmm. Those windows sort of open and close. Sometimes they close really hard, but at other times they just gradually close, but that's I wouldn't be excited about it. And you said at Tampa Bay.
It would be, yeah. It would be at Tampa. They would be the 4th seed. You would be coming in as the 5th seed. I don't expect that to change. Now, the Buccaneers have more wiggle room to make this matchup not happen in the first round than what the Cowboys do, because, as you mentioned, they clearly have as much ground as they already had to gain to catch the Eagles, and what would be, again, you go from either you're the top seed or you're all the way down to the first wild card and you're on the road regardless the rest of the way out. I guess unless, you went on a run as a wild card and the bottom wild.
A bunch of other
the very,
upsets,
very least. Sure. That sign me up for that from the NFC side, though, because that would be a crazy playoff run from both sides. But the Bucs would have, I guess, less wiggle room to make this not happen, because the Cowboys, as of right now, seem pretty set, unless they had, I guess if you're a Cowboys fan and you're trying to throw something at me, unless they had just a complete meltdown, and still going to be in the playoffs, but it seems like they'll be the 5th seed, and the Bucs, I think, will win that division. They'll be on the road this week at Arizona, that's been down. I think they'll win that one. A team that they're fighting for, they'll have them on the schedule with the Panthers, and then another division team at Atlanta.
Yeah, those. And first of all, you never can tell in the NFL, obviously.
Sure.
We've seen that from the Texans the last 2 weeks, that they're just careening toward the first overall pick, and they keep taking good teams to, the last minute.
No kidding. Yeah, speaking of that, the other side, the AFC, I would say the AFC team that most people are interested in here with the Patrick Mahomes-led Chiefs. Woo, you got to stop turning the ball over. I mean, a string of multi-turnover games all in a row. And you mentioned it, the Texans, I'll say this. They have not wrapped up their season. They're still fighting for Aaron Dickens, still trying to make him proud.
Yeah. And you commend that. And thank goodness they're doing that and not just tanking, because because they're on track to get Bryce Young, it seems. And they definitely need a quarterback. They're probably not as bad as it seems. Again, he's sitting there at one loss, but yeah, they're not. They're definitely not good. But
I certainly would not want to be a team that's headed into the playoffs in the next few weeks and face them late here in the season, because it's not been fun.
You've been listening to the Tech Talk podcast from Double T 97.3. Check out Double T973.com for more from Lubbock Sports Station.